Hello. Can you all hear me? Yes? You've had a break. Things are good. It's Earth Day again. I'm really happy to be here today, really excited to talk to you. Silent Spring. An inconvenient truth. The road. Snowpiercer. We have so many stories about how things are getting worse, how things are going wrong. And those stories are important, but at their best, they remind us of the planet. They remind us of the world around us. But they haven't been successful in pushing us towards the kind of transformational change that we need, right? And they inspire a lot of anxiety. This feels too loud. Is it too loud? No, it's cool. All right. I'm used to my own booming voice. So they create a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. It was really wonderful to hear from our student panel or youth panel and to hear how they confront and grapple with those issues and how they're looking for hope, how they're looking for optimism. And I think that is what we need because we need narratives of the futures that we want. We need to imagine transformational change because only when we imagine that change can we make that change possible. There's a really great quote I just came across. There's an article in the New York Times over the weekend about this, about climate optimism. And it had this line that would be corny if I said it, but because the New York Times said it, hope is our most fundamental renewable resource, right? Hope is probably the most intrinsically human thing that we have. Humans are hopeful in the worst circumstances. We will hope at any time, and hope is the catalyst for real change. It's the catalyst, and as one of the students so eloquently said, what we're doing here is fundamentally hopeful. Planting a garden is an exercise in hope. Going to school is an exercise in hope. I think that most of us in this room are fundamentally hopeful about the future, and that's what drives us to do the work that we do. But I think that many more people out there in the world are struggling, are looking for that hope, and the news and the information that they get about climate are not inspiring hope, and they're inspiring a kind of disaffection, a kind of anxiety, a stalemate that is manifesting in us not making the kinds of changes that we collectively need to make. So this is by the author Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Imagination is the central formative agency in human society. It's because we can imagine different futures that we can struggle against the present state of things. We do have a crisis of imagination. It's not that we aren't imagining things, it's that we're imagining the status quo. We're imagining that so many things are impossible when they're not really impossible. These are the inspirations for the project that I'm here to share, which is our Climate Action Almanac. This is an effort to inspire hopeful climate futures in communities around the world. Because it can't just be us sitting in a room like this. It can't just be a few people making policy decisions. It has to be communities and individuals everywhere imagining their own climate futures. We need to build this imaginative capacity around the world. We need many more people to feel empowered to imagine their own futures if we're going to navigate the changes ahead of us. So the Climate Action Almanac, which we released in January of this year, it's up at climatealmanac.org, is a project that seeks to do that by modeling and performing this relationship. So we commissioned, this is a project funded by the Climate Works Foundation. We commissioned 4 fellows around the world, Vandana Singh from India and also based in Massachusetts, Hannah Onogue from Nigeria, Gu Shi from China, and Libya Brenda, and a collective of artists and writers from Mexico City to imagine positive climate futures in their spaces. And these are not futures where there's some magical new device that's going to solve all of our problems for us. It's not a future in which everything is perfect. It's not a utopia. It's a future in which humans continue to have challenges and conflicts. It's a future on a changing planet, a planet where climate change is real and it's happening, but it's a future where we discover our resilience and our hope to navigate those changes and find beauty, find excitement, find the positive, because we need stories of what we're fighting for, not just stories of everything that we're worried about, stories about what we're fighting against. We need to know what we're working towards to motivate the kinds of transformational change that we need. So this book includes not just novella-length fiction from these authors, but also flash fiction and nonfiction contributions from writers all around the world, from Norway to Malaysia, many other places. It's completely free online. I invite you to check it out now. We're going to publish a version of it with MIT Press as well. We just got our reviews back. They're the nicest reviews I've ever seen on a publishing project. So really excited to see that moving forward. But even more excitingly, we also were able, thanks to ClimateWorks, to commission a short film to go with this. And we were initially thinking of doing something like a book trailer, but this is also a story. It's a story that tries to evoke the feelings that I've just been talking about, that I hope resonates with the panel that just preceded this around young people and what it means to imagine positive climate futures. So we worked with a fantastic collaborative called Sirens, a director and producer duo, Taryn O'Neill and Tamara Krinsky, to develop this. And they came here to ASU and they worked with a number of ASU faculty, staff, and students. Several students are part of this, starring in this film that we're about to screen. And we filmed this and did a lot of the production work at the MIC Center, the Media and Immersive Experience Center that ASU has opened in Mesa. And this, I hope, is a little signal for the kinds of relationships we should all be fostering around the future. All of the narratives, all of the research-based arguments that we make about climate and the planet are incredibly important, but they have to be melded with storytelling. They have to be brought together with compelling stories about what could be, not just possible futures, not even just probable futures, but preferable futures, inspiring futures. What would it look like if things were great? What would it look like if everything went right? What would it look like if some things went right? These are the stories that we need, and we need many more people to be telling them. So without further ado, I'm so excited to share with you, and I wanted to say I'm honored to share with you and be part of the celebration, our film, The Assignment.
What does it look like, this life you lead in the future? Your family? Your home? Luis. Luis.
Sorry.
The story should be between 1,200 and 1,500 words. And I want to see this future you live in through your words. I want you to give a full 360 view of 20 years in the future. Your future.
So, this is a horror story?
Right?
Well, it's genre agnostic, but if that's your jam, why do you ask?
Our world is burning?
And nobody gives a crap, or is even doing anything real about it.
We're screwed.
Dystopia. The end of the world. Is the easy answer, right? Doom and gloom narratives remove your agency, makes it easier to disengage and lose hope. But the apocalypse is just one story. What's another? You're in the driver's seat for this assignment. You can rewrite the rules, the laws, well, not the laws of physics, but pretty much everything else. So stop scrolling and start searching. If we don't tell stories about the world we want to live in, how can we build it? Find your guide. They can come from anywhere.
We want to survive as humans, as a species, we want to thrive, but we need to change our ways of living and of doing things in order to not only survive, but thrive. Fungi started to send messages to moss. Mycorrhiza that connected with trees started to send messages to bees and beetles. They carry information that is essential to help to save life on Earth.
I'd like to share with youth around the world who are feeling frustrated or pessimistic about climate change that if human beings survived in the past, we can survive this time as well. As an urban planner, I saw increasingly unusual proposal for new city designs. The lower levels typically contained vegetable gardens, the middle levels housed garages and workshops, and the highest levels held power plants, water treatment plants, and similar machinery.
I think zooming in and seeing steps you can take, actually doing something, kind of shakes off that feeling. And imagine if we're doing that in little spots and pockets of places all over the world, which is happening already. Imagine if we were to do more.
Sometimes, some days, it felt like they were marking time. But every now and then there was a spark of something in the games children played, pretending to use dirt and leaves to power their tin vehicles.
And yet, the future is not written in stone. There are spaces, places, there are aspects which have not been filled in and cemented over. And it's in these uncertain spaces that the imagination can thrive. You need a network of stories, stories that talk to each other like patterns on a weave. This is why I collect stories from all the worlds to see if I can find the real ones, the true ones, and weave them with all the other people engaged in this task, weave them into something that can make a different world.
Can I weave your story into the web?
Thank you so much. Just want to say, please use this as a resource. The entire book is online. There are a number of films. Vandana and Kim Stanley Robinson both gave TED Talks related to this project. And we hope you can use this as a resource in your teaching, in your communication, and maybe to inspire your work. Thanks so much.